Hey, what's up, everybody? Gonna do a classic rock reaction, man. This is Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin, we're now on to their 9th studio album. It's called Coda, and we're on to their first track on side 1, a song called We're Gonna Groove. So what we're gonna do here, man, is we're gonna do what I call a back-to-back. So we're going to do a reaction first to, I believe it's, January 9th, 1970, Royal Albert Hall. So we'll do a reaction to that. And then after, in the middle, I do my little read and intro and stuff. Then we're going to do a reaction, I believe it's Robert Plant, sometime in the 90s, I'm not sure when. And he has kind of like a solo outing of the same song. So it'll be really cool to see how the song has changed in his hands over the course of, 50 years. So let's check this out, man. Before I get going with this, I just want to give a shout out and a thanks very much to Murray Wilkinson. Murray, thank you, man. Thank you for sending me the links. I appreciate it. And Murray also, I'll wait until the Robert Plant part to read the note. He left me a little note there for Robert Plant. So let's check this out, man. Led Zeppelin, We're Gonna Groove. Royal Albert Hall. It's always cool to see their live stuff. We're gonna groove. Let's get it. Damn.
Good evening.
John's ready to go.
See my baby coming down the track. Bitch, my baby's coming back. Someday she'll get back to me. Oh, we're gonna raise a family. We're gonna groove, yeah, groove, and we're gonna groove. Oh, my baby, we're gonna love, love, love. Until the break of day. Sweet as sweet can be. You don't know what to do to me. Let me say my one desire.
Just set my soul
You
on
just
fire.
set my soul on fire. And we're gonna groove.
This is a really
And
old
we're gonna groove,
Benny King song.
baby, we're gonna love, love.
It's one of his first songs, Benny King.
Till the break of day.
Lots of fun. Excellent.
Come on, babe. I need you, darling. I need you so bad. Everybody needs everybody. You gotta sing about yourself.
This guy's got an incredible vocal range. Hey, was that it? Okay. Okay. Man, that was just a sudden drop there. Murray, your video got clicked off there, man. It looked like that was the end of it, though. Hey, damn. We're gonna groove, man. Uh, is that what it's called? I think it's called Groovin'. It's an old Benny King song, man. Holy cow. But with some attitude and some thunder. Holy. Yo. I wonder what Benny King would think of this rendition of his song, man. Just got all of this power. It's like strapping on a damn rocket engine to his song and just letting it go. That was fantastic, man. All of that energy in their performance, every single one of them was doing a standout lead, vocal lead, instrument job there. They're all doing their own individual solo thing, but collectively it sounded really, really awesome. Fantastic, man. And wow, these guys continue to impress the hell out of me a year and a half later. That was excellent. That was excellent, man. And you know what blows me away is being familiar with some of these old soul and blues tunes and then putting it in the hands of these masterful musicians like this and just letting them do what they will with it. Damn, man. That was excellent, I gotta say. And I gotta show this to my pops. He's just gonna trip. All right, man. So, what I'm gonna do here with this back-to-back is I'm gonna do my reads in the middle, and then we'll do Robert Plant's 90s rendition of this as well. That'll be quite interesting because I know that his voice, of course, would have changed and he was older and that sort of thing. So we'll see how he sounds. So, man, I'm just going to my source here, Wikipedia. So there isn't a ton of information on the song, but it's mixed in with album info. So we'll read a little bit of album info and then song info. And then there's album reception, critical reception. Okay. So we'll do that, man. All right. So, Coda. Let's start with album info. Coda. Coda is a rarities compilation album by English rock band Led Zeppelin. The album is a collection of unused tracks from various sessions during Led Zeppelin's 12-year career. It was released in 1982, 2 years after the group had officially disbanded following the death of drummer John Bonham. The word coda means a passage that ends a musical piece following the main body. Background. Album background. The fifth Swan Song Records album for the band, Coda was released to honor contractual commitments to Atlantic Records and also to cover tax demands on previous monies earned. It cleared away nearly all the leftover tracks from the various studio sessions of the 60s and 70s. The album was a collection of 8 tracks spanning the length of Zeppelin's 12-year history. Atlantic counted the release as a studio album, as Swan Song had owed the label a final studio album from the band. According to Martin Popoff, there's a conjecture that Jimmy Page called We're Gonna Groove a studio track and I Can't Quit You Baby a rehearsal track because Swan Song owed Atlantic one more studio album specifically. Okay, and Martin Popoff, who was Martin Popoff again? Was he like an agent of some sort? Sounds like he was like maybe some sort of an agent. Maybe the agent for Atlantic. Guitarist Jimmy Page explained that part of the reasoning for the album's release related to the popularity of unofficial Led Zeppelin recordings, which continued to be circulated by fans. And this is Jimmy here, quote, Coda was released basically because there was so much bootleg stuff out. We thought, well, if there's that much interest, then we may as well put the rest of our stuff, the rest of our studio stuff out, unquote. And as John Paul Jones recalled, quote, they were good tracks. A lot of it was recorded around the time punk was really happening. Basically, there wasn't a lot of Zeppelin tracks that didn't go out. We used everything, unquote. Okay, so that's kind of like an album overview. And let's check out the song now. Song info. We're Gonna Groove. We're Gonna Groove, or Groovin', as it's originally titled, is a song written by soul artist Benny King and later co-credited to James Bethia. In '64, it was released as the single B-side of King's rendition of What Now My Love. Although the single did not reach the record's charts, critic Richie Unterberger felt that the song was one of King's best self-penned efforts. He compared the arrangement to James Brown's early '60s work and added, King is mostly known for ballads and romantic numbers, but Groovin' convincingly demonstrates that he could also write and sing bluesy, swinging, up-tempo soul numbers. Groovin' is included on King's 1993 anthology compilation. Yeah, man. Yeah, I know Benny King's Groovin'. It's in my dad's collection. It's pretty jamming tune, and I'm very sure that as a kid at some point in time, I danced to it. Really, really good track, man.
See my baby going down the track. Bet you my baby's coming back. Soon as she gets back to me, we're gonna raise a family, and we're gonna groove. Oh, groove. We're gonna groove. Yeah, groove. And we're gonna love till the break of dawn. One of these mornings and it won't be long. You look at me and I'll be gone. Going back home where I belong. Where peace is peace and corn is corn. And we're gonna groove. Yeah, groove. We're gonna groove. Yeah, groove. And we're gonna love till the break of dawn.
So let's check out Led Zeppelin's rendition. So Led Zeppelin performed We're Gonna Groove as the opening number during their 1970 UK and European tours. The song was proposed for Led Zeppelin 2, but did not appear until the 1982 release of Coda. Jimmy Page finished the recording at his Soul Studios after the group disbanded following the death of drummer John Bonham. The credits for the '82 album Coda note that the song was recorded at Morgan Studios in London on the 25th of June in '69. However, this was later changed to the Royal Albert Hall on the 9th of January 1970, with several edits and guitar parts overdubbed. The original concert performance, including the original guitar part, appears on the 2003 Led Zeppelin DVD. The second song of the concert, I Can't Quit You Baby, was similarly adapted for the Coda album. Okay, that's what happened. So they immediately went into I Can't Quit You Baby. So that's why the song immediately cuts so sudden like that. Okay, they were going right into another jam. Alright, I get it. In a contemporary review of Coda for Rolling Stone, Kurt Lauder described We're Gonna Groove as definitive 1969 raunch. He added, the essential elements of Zeppelin's sound are already firmly in place. Page's propulsive guitar playing, Robert Plant's pealing vocal, John Paul Jones's duty-bound bass, and the late John Bonham's creature with the atom brain drumming, unquote. Very, very good way to describe these guys, man. Excellent. Yeah, man, they jammed very well with this song. The only problem I've got with it is that it was too short. They could have extended this jam well into 20-25 minutes, man. Okay, so let's finish off with album reception, man. Just a quick paragraph. Album reception. Reviewing for Rolling Stone in '83, Kurt Loder hailed Coda as a resounding farewell and a marvel of compression, deftly tracing the Zeppelin decade with 8 powerful previously unreleased tracks and no unnecessary elaboration. According to Julian Marszalek of The Quietists, however, Coda has always been regarded as the band's weakest release. Made up of 8 tracks that spanned Led Zeppelin's lifetime, it refused to flow as an album, devoid of a coherent narrative. It felt tossed together to make up for contractual obligations. Unquote. Yeah, okay. So now he isn't saying whether he likes the songs or not. He's just basically saying that, hey, this is why the album exists. It's considered their weakest. Well, I guess just from that alone, he can surmise that he doesn't like it. It's all good. In a retrospective review for AllMusic, Stephen Thomas Erlewine said, while it did not compile some notable non-album recordings, it offered a good snapshot of much of what made Led Zeppelin a great band, and featured mostly hard-charging rock and roll, including Ozone Baby, Darlene, and Wearing and Tearing. Rockers that alternately cut loose, groove, and menace. Unquote. Okay. It's very, very interesting to see the contrast in how these critics think and how they take things, I mean, it's good to look at things from all different sides. It's just very interesting when I'm reading their critical responses, how it seems to just ebbs and it flows. It ebbs and it flows, Anyway, hey, it's all good, man. Critics serve a purpose. So, alright, yeah, let's check out our next track, man. And this is Robert Plant's rendition of this song, and it's a video. And, Murray says this. Murray says, hey, Wayne, pay no attention to the silliness of the actual video. Just focus on Robert's singing style and sound. You'll see what I mean. And he capitalized all the letters in C. S-E-E-C. Still shaking my head. Okay. All right, Murray. Thanks, man. Fair warning. Got it. Let's check out this damn video. So, Robert Plant. There we are. So, Robert Plant, We're Gonna Groove. It only says rare live version. So let's check it out, man. Robert Plant, We're Gonna Groove. Let's get it. Definitely in the 90s. He looks like he's around 50. Turn that down a bit.
Coming down the track. Bitch, my baby's coming back.
Oh, it's jazzy.
One day she get back to me, and we gonna raise a family, and we gonna groove. Yes, groove. Oh, we gonna groove. Yes, groove. And we gonna love until the break of dawn. One of these days it won't be long. You look for me and I'll be gone. I'm going back where I come from, where bees is bees and corn is corn. And we gonna groove, yes, groove. And we gonna groove, yes, groove. And we gonna love until the break of dawn. Now take me to the bridge, hey.
I see what you mean, right?
I'm the one, you broke my heart. You took it, darling, you tore it apart. Oh, you left me sitting in the dark crying. You said your love for me was dying. So come on, baby. 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 Get a little lonely in the middle of the night. I need you, darling, to make things alright. So come on, baby. Now come on, baby. Come on, baby. Baby, baby, baby. Oh, hey, that might catch on. Yes, oh, yeah. Was I the one? You took my heart. Yeah, you took it, darling, and then you tore it apart. You let me sitting in the dark crying. You said your love for me was dying. So come on, baby, come on, please. Shine on your light, let it shine on me. Shine on your light, let it shine on me. Shine on your light, let it shine on me. Hey, and let it shine, 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 let it shine. 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 Let's go to the radio.
Really.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
All right. Hey, that was excellent, man. Nice, jazzy, up-tempo. Obviously an older Robert Plant. But you know what I was thinking about? Well, first off, those big boob hoochie mamas did not distract me from the song, from the essence of the groove. Oh man, it's just on so many levels of wrong to include that kind of content, infuse it with a masterful musician and singer and icon such as Robert Plant. Whoever did that, you should be horsewhipped. Anyway, this is a fantastic example of how Robert Plant, or more so Led Zeppelin, would probably sound going into the 80s and beyond if they were still together, if they were still jamming and grooving. It's just one of those many different sounds that they would adopt. And I said in my previous reaction, I'm Gonna Crawl, that's off of In Through the Outdoor, that I believe is very, very much the way they would have sounded into the 80s and definitely going beyond. And they would probably change their style and variety to kind of sound like this, having a good time with what they're doing, you know what I mean? I have a feeling that that's exactly what they would be doing in the 90s and the 2000s, having fun like this, you know? They would definitely have a crowd. They probably wouldn't care that much to be big mainstream headers. They're older. They don't have all of that energy to want to go on a big ass North American tour, world tour, anything like that. But they're still content to be at the premiere of their creativeness, their musicianship, enjoying their life, and just jamming together. You know, you've survived all of that stuff. It's all past. And now we're just having a good time with what we've done previously. It kind of reminds me of Eric Clapton, where Eric Clapton is right now in his life, in his career. He can create more stuff if he wants to, or he can just basically just go and tour and do live concerts whenever he feels like doing it. He can change things up. I mean, look at what he did with Layla, you know what I mean? Same thing here. Robert Plant just changed things up on We're Gonna Groove from the original, and it still has charm, it still has pizzazz. And speaking of charm and pizzazz, he's still got all of that. You know, he might not have this great bellowing delivery anymore as when he was younger. Lots of things happen, he's older, but he's still got that excellent signature singing voice, and that's all you need, man. But when you take that and then you wrap him around a contemporary Led Zeppelin, that would have been the shit, let me tell you. Wasn't meant to be, but I'm more convinced than ever that they would have been still relevant to a very, very strong degree into the 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s. Absolutely, without a doubt. They are timeless. Their skill is timeless. Their charm, his charm, all of that, you know, would have been really, really nice. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be, but I'm convinced that that's exactly how they would sound, and they would be very, very relevant. They would still have a great percentage of their original fan base, and they would definitely have more fans as new generations came along. Definitely, I believe that, man. You know, as old, let's say if John Bonham got into his 70s now, still jamming, still playing, you know that dude would still be bringing the damn thunder. You know that, right? And they would still be having a good time. Absolutely. So, this was great. Murray, thank you, man. Thank you for the warning going into that damn video. I appreciate it. It did not distract me at all, man. Fantastic. Really, really good. We're gonna groove. I gotta go back and see if I can find the original Benny King version and maybe attach it so you guys can kind of have a basis to compare and go from there, man. So let me just check my notes here, man, before I bounce going forward. Yeah, so my next Led Zeppelin reaction will be a couple of days from now. Usually I hit it on the weekends. And right now it's Artist of the Month time. It's April, and I'm just hitting the Who really hard. My next Who reaction is going to be probably later today, and it's starting the Who's next album. I just finished live at Leeds. That was fantastic, and my patrons have laid out a really nice path for me to follow. So I'm looking forward to that, man. So that is my reaction. Thanks for joining me. Hope you liked it. Despite that dumbass video, I really enjoyed Robert's performance along the way. I gotta find out what year that was. I'm guessing it was maybe mid-90s or maybe early 2000s. I'm not sure. If you guys know what year that was, please let me know. That'd be really cool to know when this was in the timeline. Anyways, have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you in my next Zeppelin reaction. Peace.